This is a very impromptu video. I wasn't meant to record today. Something was on my heart, so I thought, let me put it on camera. So I have no notes, I have nothing to refer to today, so I may or may not put this video out. I wanted to get my opinion out. So this is going to be another Talks with Tesha. I decided to call it Talks with Tesha rather than Tesha Talk. Today I want to be talking about boundaries. This is heavy on my heart because quite a few chats I've had with my friends individually over the last couple of days, but also just a running theme at the moment is a lot of people tend not to know boundaries. If you haven't yet followed me on Instagram, what are you waiting for? I'm almost on 1K. I would really appreciate it if you could follow me. My socials are on the screen somewhere. I don't know where I'm gonna put it yet. For those of you that have been watching my videos, for those of you that have been continuously supporting me, getting on to me for not releasing anything, really appreciate you. I just want to get into the video, so let's get to it. The first thing I want to talk about is the fact that in order for you not to be disrespected in life, you need to set down boundaries. Boundaries are so important because it's how people treat you, it's the way in which that you treat yourself. So one thing I actually do want to talk about, the fact that an act of self-love is putting through a boundary with people that you do love. So sometimes, you know, you may be talking to somebody, you may have a little talking stage going on. You know for yourself, your boundary is you don't want to be out past 9 p.m, for example. You want to be out during the day, you want to see them during the day. And you know that they can make that a priority or they can make that happen, but they don't. That is a way for you to say, actually, my boundaries are not being respected, walk away. Another thing that I feel like with boundaries we don't do is with family, parents, whatever. So for myself, my boundary is that people need to knock before they come into my room, because I've just come back from uni where I would have had my own space. I had a lock on my door. My room was my safe space, you know? And now I've come home and it's like I've had to reinforce that. It's taken a couple of months, but everyone now gets it. Like, knock on the door before you walk into Tesha's room. It's great because for myself, I feel more comfortable in my room. I feel like I can be more at ease. I can be a bit more relaxed in my room now. Whereas before, I was constantly on edge because I just felt like people were just opening and closing the door as they please, and that was really bothering me. Next thing that I want to put to set out with boundaries and being respected is, if you do not let your boundaries be known, people cannot respect your boundaries. How can you respect something that you don't know exists? So something for myself, my phone stays on Do Not Disturb. All of my friends know that my phone stays on Do Not Disturb.
No one can reach me unless I want you to reach me.
That's a boundary for me because I hate how sometimes you'll just be minding your business and then someone calls you and then you've like hit your phone and now you're on a call with somebody that you don't want to speak to. It's the worst thing. I would much rather me have the choice to engage. So call me. If I see your missed call, I'll call you back. If you don't pick up, you don't pick up. But I would prefer it if I was in control of that, because I know that it works well for myself. Sometimes I wake up and I'm just not in the mood to interact with anybody. And rather than having a conversation with me on the phone and I'm not really interested in what you have to say, I'd rather call you back so I'm able to engage with you. I feel like now that I've had my phone on Do Not Disturb for a couple of months, now my friends are starting to get the message. So more often than not, people tend to text me first and say, hey, can I call? Whereas before, people used to just call and I'm just like, you're invading somebody's personal space when you just give them a call out of the blue. Unless you're like my homegirl, like we are close as hell, or my homeboy, we're close as hell, don't just call me out of the blue. Like that really riles up my anxiety, because it's just like, why are you calling me? What, like, is there a reason you're calling me? I would prefer a text first, you know, but that's just my boundary. Some people prefer to be called rather than text. Depends on who you are. But the point is, no one can respect your boundaries if you don't let them know that, you know? The next thing that I want to talk about is, if you are going to set a boundary for your friends and for your family and for those external to you, you need to be able to respect it yourself. If for myself, I have a boundary of, or an expectation of myself that I want everyone to be on time, I can't then be late everywhere I go. I am known for being late. I'm gonna be honest. I've worked on it so much though this year. I feel like I can count how many times I've been late to events that people have invited me out to. So for myself, I know which people I can be late with and which people I really can't even try that with. So there's certain people that will invite me out and I know punctuality is important to them. I will put time aside to get ready 2-3 hours before I need to actually start getting ready, just so that I am able to arrive to said place on time. And boundaries also show a sign of respect. So if I know that my friends put in that boundary with me, like, Tracy, I really appreciate it if you were on time the next time I invite you out, that is something that I will honour because we've had the conversation. So you need to be able to apply that for yourself. Like, what's the point in setting boundaries on other people if you don't honour them yourself? If you want people to be on time somewhere, then you need to show up on time when you go somewhere. If you don't want to cancel, if you don't want people to cancel on you, you can't cancel on other people, because that's something else as well. Like, if that's a boundary, I have a 3-strike rule for myself. If somebody cancels on me 3 times in a row, don't invite you anywhere. That's just for me, because it saves me wasting my time, it saves me wasting your time, and it saves us having a conversation that's pointless. There's no point in me inviting you somewhere and I know between 24 and 48 hours you are going to cancel on me before this event. There's no point doing it, you know. Something that I want everyone to remember is that boundaries are not there to limit you. Boundaries are not there to put you in a box. You setting boundaries is simply for your benefit. It allows you to control who enters your mental and physical space on your terms. And you should have total control over that. If someone is entering your mental space at a time that you can't deal with it, if I'm having a bad day and I'm in a rut and someone's coming to me on this like happy go happy vibe, it actually is a trigger for me. So I know for myself, my boundary is I let everyone know in the house. If I'm in a bad mood, I let everyone know in the house. I'm not in the mood today. I don't want to be contacted. I don't want to communicate with anyone until I get to myself out of there, because I know that when I'm in a rut, I'm bad vibes. I don't want to be around anybody and I don't want to spread that kind of energy around. It's simply so that I can protect my space, but then I'm also protecting everyone else around me, because what's the point in me being all depressed and upset around you if you are in a good mood? That's not fair. It's the same thing in your life. You should be able to have a boundary over your physical space, over your person. If you are on a date, for example, and then the guy's expecting you to sleep with him on the first date, you set that boundary and say, hey, actually, no, I'm not that way inclined. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but there are certain girls that would prefer to sleep with somebody on this first date, whereas with yourself, you may not. Same thing. It's a boundary. If he doesn't want to respect that boundary, then you move on to the next person. All the way into your intimate relationships, when you're in a relationship with somebody for years and years and years, if you have boundaries with certain things and they're not respecting that boundary, boundaries are also standards that you uphold for yourself. If I'm expecting my partner to always be clean, hygiene is something that I hold, like it's like top 3 for me when I'm looking in a partner. If I start to see that their hygiene is slipping, it's a complete turn off for me. You are going to lose me quicker than you could blink. Like, that's something I just don't compromise on. I can't tell somebody that my standard for them is hygiene and I myself, I'm not keeping myself clean. That is literally not fair. It's hypocritical of me, really and truly. Same thing applies. You can use any example in your own life to know whether or not somebody is respecting your boundary or not. If I have a boundary of not being called bro, or not being called sis, or not appreciating being yo'd, for example. I don't like it when people just holler at me and say yo. I hate that. I have a name, use it. Say hello, greet me properly. Don't start the sentence with yo. I really, really dislike that. Some people don't mind it. Some people, that's not a boundary for them. It's just like, yeah, cool, like it's just yo, it's whatever. But for me, it's actually very triggering. I don't like it. I just prefer not to be addressed that way. It's boundaries. And I feel like I'm at a stage of my life now where we're all adults. Well, I hope everyone watching this is an adult, but we're all adults. And if you set down a boundary, the people that you call your friends should respect that. And you are very much within your right. Don't ever think that it's petty to no longer speak to somebody who doesn't respect your boundaries, no matter how small the boundary is. If you have a boundary of people not using your Vaseline and this person keeps using your Vaseline, that is a good enough reason to stop talking to that person or to reduce communication with that person, because they're affecting a boundary that you've put in place for you. And now, because they're comfortable enough just putting their finger in your Vaseline, you now have to put yourself in a predicament where you either don't mention your feelings because it will make the situation uncomfortable, or you could just walk away because you're not comfortable. You should always seek to be comfortable in the scenarios that you purposely put yourself into. why are you uncomfortable off of the betterment of somebody else's complete comfortability, but also the fact that they're taking the complete mick out of you and actually ridiculing you and your boundaries? Something that I pretty much have to say is, if you're going to hold people to a certain standard, make sure you hold yourself to that standard first. Somebody cannot be honest with you if you are constantly lying. Somebody cannot be upfront with you if you're constantly hiding the truth. It is up to you and yourself whether you enforce the boundaries in your own life and you make sure that everybody that has the privilege to experience you and has the privilege to be around you, it's up to you to make sure that you enforce those boundaries and they are respected. So like I said, this was an impromptu video. I had no notes. I don't know why I just came to the screen for this. Hopefully this helps somebody about boundaries, really, and about being respected and making sure that you implement your boundaries. Again, thank you so much for everybody that's been rocking with me so far. I really appreciate you. Make sure if you like this video that you leave a comment below to let me know that this is the type of content that you like. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure you also like and share this with your friends. Thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.